Blackwood is a modded map for Project Zomboid. Notably, Blackwood is one of the most compact cities in all of Project Zomboid. Garbage fills the streets and forces you to take creative routes to get from one place to another. In this city, kiting zombies is unreasonably hard. You're going to be forced into extremely close quarter situations pretty much all the time. Since I've played on this map quite often before, I decided to add the mod CDDA Zombies, meaning that zombies can now spawn with different abilities and stats. The main objective of this run is to become a better player when it comes to assessing the danger of situations. Quite often I've lost because I miscalculated how difficult a fight would be. Now that I have to worry whether each zombie could be a running sprinter who can knock me over with one hit, I'll have to plan out each and every interaction I make with the zombies. Additionally, I am running Horde Night. Every 10 days, a few zombies will arrive. I did lower the amount of zombies each Horde night from 50 to about 25, but that's because if I was to get, say, 100 sprinters, I would die instantly. Would you look at that? We just arrived at the Mega Tools. This is going to be my base for the foreseeable future, as it is a really strong spot overall. The first step was to actually get into Mega Tools. By default, the door is going to be blocked by a large dumpster. Thankfully, I can just rotate that out of the way to unlock the doors. Inside there's usually some zombies, but I can cheese them out using the broken windows. These broken windows are going to be my main defense from Horde Nights later on. Now that I was inside, I cleared out the few zombies that remained. Just from this second floor, you should be able to tell why Mega Tools is so good. Not only is there a second floor with stairs which I can just demolish, there's tons of loot, some pre-built rain collector barrels, and of course, there's a balcony where I can place the rain collector barrels safely from zombies. Anything from weapons to craft material spawns here, so I decided to throw everything on the ground for later organization. This TV I stole from the construction site is going to be very important in the future. I'm going to use it to watch Life and Living and pretty much get a ton of skills for free. The second thing I always do when I play in Blackwood is immediately go to the nearby supermarket. This supermarket is full of food and it's going to be my best bet until I can start my own farm. I am also going to steal a refrigerator because that's how I am. Another advantage of Blackwood is the obscene amount of metal drums lying around. Whereas it's a pretty rare find in most cities, in Blackwood, you're going to have barrels and drums for days. The supermarket had quite a bit of company inside, but thankfully no sprinters from what I saw. I dispatched them and started looting. Now that I had cleared out the main threat, I started filling my backpack with as much food as I could. Back at my base, I could hear zombies. I would only figure out where these sounds came from in about 10 days. So I was back on my way to the supermarket, this time to get a refrigerator. Here's a pro tip. If you're ever carrying something heavy, put it in your offhand. Carrying things on your hand has pretty much the biggest weight reduction effect in the game, meaning that I can easily carry an entire fridge with one hand, and I'm not even slightly encumbered. While I was at it, I stole every single tub of ice cream they had. Why? Because I could. Now back at my base, I put away all of the perishable food inside my fridge. Since my character wasn't quite drowsy yet, I decided to get some work done and started picking up some of the trash on the floor. Somehow, a house alarm was set off even though I set zombies can't turn on house alarms to no. I don't know how that works, but maybe it's a random sound event. Ultimately, I decided that I should sleep downstairs next to the TV. Hopefully, I would wake up just about when Life and Living came on. Day 2 started off with rain. After watching one of the Cook Show episodes on Life and Living, I decided to head down to the supermarket again. There was more loot to be hauled back. Inside the supermarket was a Necromancer Z. This is one of the new CDDA Zombies Zeds that can spawn in. This one will respawn nearby zombie corpses, which meant I had quite a couple zombies to clear inside the supermarket. With that out of the way, I got back to looting. Another good thing about this supermarket in particular is the attached clothing. There's quite a few clothing stands here, so I was able to get myself a cool leather jacket. Since I am an extremely greedy player, I also tend to steal water dispensers. Arriving back at the base, I unloaded all the items into the respective shelves. While trying to figure out where the zombie sounds were coming from, I assumed they were somewhere inside my garage. I decided to try and get in. I then managed to make a dumpster phase through a wall, which is pretty amazing. And of course, they weren't in here. The place where the zombies are actually hidden because they spawned weird is funny. But I only find it out about 9 days from now, which is pretty sad. In preparation for the later Horde nights, I decided to move these sandbags out of the way so I could get an easier view of the incoming hordes. Usually it's going to be these tight corners that kill you. Or it's going to be picking up glass with your bare hands like an idiot. This glass is especially annoying since I'm playing with a mod named Health Plus. This mod almost manages to simulate RimWorld style health conditions. For example, getting a deep wound is now going to leave you with a scar which will hurt later on. Additionally, infections are a lot more annoying to deal with and can actually make you sick. I only added this because the zombie population is so reduced that even with CDDA Zombies, I felt it would be an easy challenge. And too easy just isn't fun. I would also like to bring attention to how these 2 concrete blocks weigh the same as 3 concrete blocks, or the same as 1 sandbag. At this point, I was seriously sick of the zombie sound, so I decided to go somewhere else. I tried clearing out this building and was immediately met by a shrieker. Thankfully, it didn't manage to scream, but the Shrieker Z is pretty annoying. Thankfully for me, there were only really normal zombies inside. Though my wounds would slow me down, I decided to fight regardless. After that extremely intense fight against 3 whole zombies, I decided to go back home. I was going to need to heal up my hands if I wanted to fight in the future. And with CDDA Zombies, you never know when the next zombie you're going to encounter is something like a brute, and where you might need to hit him over the head with an axe instantly. At this point, I pretty much started just ignoring the zombie noises, as I figured they were bugged or on top of the building somehow. For some reason, while I was sleeping, I got a fever and sick and irritated, which is a moodle that isn't even used for anything in the game. Now, I figured that the sickness would have something to do with Health Plus, and that it was probably regarding my infected bandages. I also considered it being corpse sickness, but that didn't make sense considering the sickness disappeared as soon as I woke up. Regardless, it was a good incentive to clean up some corpses. After that was done, I went on to do even more boring things that involved staying in my house. Just the thought of a brute zombie in the dark was enough to keep me from going out at any point before 6 AM. Now that it was light outside, I decided to go check out one of the most OP buildings in Blackwood, the Munterdiflin Paper Company. What you see right here is the Wrestler Z. This is one of the deadliest types of zombies in CDDA. Now, apparently, one of the zombies here got a really good kill streak because someone called in a zombie airstrike on me. Now that I had a key, I could access all of these storage units. These storage units are extremely overpowered, simply because there's so many of them and they can have so many high quality items. Remember to always door flash. Majority of the loot you're going to get from the Munterdiflin is going to be from these wardrobes. after all that looting, I finally got back out of the building. Now I had a lot more loot, even an exoskeleton.